I'm Kentucky Kid, aka Robert Hill. Yeah, I have a little thing about it. Police broke stoplight and nearly kill me. Mash up me car and me body and me kidney. If I never TV cheer, them charge me like Ratney. I be corruption, I go on in the country. Police broke stoplight and nearly kill me. Mash up me car and me body and me kidney. If I never TV cheer, them charge me like Ratney. Yeah, check it out.
All right, welcome to SouFLoTV again, everybody. It is your host with the most. With no further ado, let's get right into this one. This one is about a brother called Kentucky Kid. All right, Robert Hill was his real name, and the atrocities that followed. In this case, we're going to revisit the case. Not only revisit the case, I'm going to take you step by step through the case and show you where there was a huge miscarriage of justice. Let me say this first, though. Why Jamaicans see and know what is going on, but stay silent. This is a prime example of why. See, I'm blind, hear, and deaf, because you are on your own if you open your mouth and say you saw or heard anything. Real thing that happens in Jamaica. Anyways, let's start out like this. So, we're gonna go to Wiki first, right? Wikipedia has it that, just to give you all an up-to-date, so Robert Hill, known as Kentucky Kid, he died on the 8th of December, 2009. He was a Jamaican entertainer who was shot dead by the Jamaican Constabulary Force. Robert was making his come up in reggae music. He even did a song with Luciano, right? He was shot and killed by the Jamaica Constabulary Force. Hill had earlier filmed a previous incident in which police officers entered his house and confronted him and his wife, Kumiko, who was 8 months pregnant at the time. He uploaded it to the video sharing website, which we are on now, called YouTube, and he showed it to the JCF, but he got little response from the police about it. His shooting attracted international attention and suspicion that it was in retaliation for the earlier incident of a police officer running a red light and hitting his car and then wanting him to forget about the damages that was done and walk away. It is said that the police officer was on duty and intoxicated, but that is here nor there, because that's not what happened. So, a police car traveled through a red light and collided with Hill's car, causing serious damages. Hill was brought to the station. Listen carefully. 4 hours later, after being brought to the station, he was ordered to return home. He was told to write his statement from home and then come back to the station during the following 24-hour period by a Sergeant Gardner. He went back, but his statement was refused. And it was refused on the grounds that he should have submitted it the previous day when the collision had occurred. Oh man. Hill stood his ground, but was physically manhandled from the station, put out, grab and fling out. Come out, Rasta boy. According to the Jamaica Observer, reporter Kimo Matthews, Hill told the paper he had been threatened. They had came to his house and threatened him, and that the police were intimidating him. A lawyer told him to get a camera and put the camera on your property where no one can see it, but it can record who is coming in and out, which he did. Within days, Hill had brought the film of the incident, the police going in and out of his property, to the paper, depicting him and his heavily pregnant wife, which was, I believe, 8 months pregnant at the time, Kumiko. They were on film being physically harassed by members of the police force who demanded that he forget about the damage caused to the car. The faces and the acts of the police members were highly visible on the tape. It wasn't no old school tape. It was high definition. You clearly saw who was doing what. The police did not assist Hill even when he showed them the video evidence. On December 8th of 2009, an anonymous person telephoned Hill to request a viewing of a car being sold. Hill alongside his cousin, left his wife, who was pregnant at the time, at his home, but promised to return immediately. The cousin returned home at Hill's request to pick up a car keys, which they had forgotten. The JCF fatally shot Hill, later claiming that he had held a gun at them. The incident was described by the JCF as a shootout. Hill placed video recordings of himself and the police on YouTube. Among the words used in the long video message recorded before his death, Hill said, "Hello, Jamaica. I am Robert Hill, aka Kentucky Kid. I really don't know what is going on, but all I know, police are covering up for each other and they're trying to kill me. All I know is I can't get any justice. Who will fix my car? Who will take care of my health? I can't get any justice from anyone in Jamaica. All I know is everywhere I go for justice in the police force, there is someone there trying to kill me or someone trying to set me up with the police. So I would like the police, I would like the world to check this out. Listen to this and know that if I am dead or if anything happens to me, it's the Jamaican police that carry out that work or that order." With Hill successfully captured film evidence of corruption within the police force, Jamaicans for Justice considered this a nadir for Jamaica. Hill's case is covered in Al Jazeera's program called Island of Music and Murder. And you can go on YouTube and type in Island of Music and Murder right now and watch it there. You will also see a snippet where I am going to also play that snippet here of Hill saying exactly what I had just said, right? Now, let me tell you something. I myself have seen the video, but on the day when that accident happened, there so happened to have been a news reporter who had his camera equipment with him. I forgot if it was for the Observer or the Gleaner, that was right across the street. And having heard the collision of the vehicles, he ran over to get some news, which is natural. And it was because he was there. I remember that video being released, which I cannot find on YouTube anymore, where Hill said, if una never there here, I kill them, would I kill me out here, you know? And say, me, a shootout and drive by and police chase and all these other things. So it's crazy that it came to that. You know what I'm saying? Now, what happens after that initial story? Kentucky Kid verdict. All right. And you can find this one, which was printed in the Observer. And this was printed October 23rd of 2019. This was actually printed August 13th of 2014. Sorry, today is October 23rd of 2019. Listen to this. So 3 cops and 2 civilians are to be charged for the murder of entertainer Robert Kentucky Kid Hill. They had decided to charge the individuals involved. 3 cops and 2 civilians to be charged for his murder. I still don't know the intricate details of the case. How did these people come to be involved? So, 3 cops and 2 civilians. Charges are to be laid against the 5 following a ruling by a jury. A ruling by a jury in the death of Hill Tuesday in the inquest into the death of Hill, who was shot and killed in what the police are saying was a shootout when they went in search of him at his Ivy Green Mews home in December 2009. The cops have been identified as Special Corporal Uriel Anderson, Constable Gary Thomas, and Special Constable Norvell Warren. The 2 civilians, Marvia Morgan and Donovan Brown.
Hello, Jamaica. I'm Robert Hill, aka Kentucky Kid. Right now, at this present moment, what I really want to say is that it's be a corruption, thief, and liar police at Spanish Town Police Station. And I can't believe It's in every police station in Jamaica right now when I realize. Because the investigation officer, Mr. Garden, and the driver of the police car, yeah, the police car, Sergeant Beckford, know that I'm not the cause of the accident that take place on July 11th and Spanish Town bypass at the Dumbo Holding stoplight. The accident I was in, my car was stationary at the stoplight when the police car broke the stoplight. That police wasn't conscious at the time. Driving so fast, seems to me you were intoxicated. Come and hit 3 cars and nearly kill me. Then them seize my car, never take me to doctor, and look how near the hospital is beside the police station. They refuse to take a statement from me same time. I went back to the station on Saturday to take pictures with my car and the police car so I could show my insurance the impact. The superintendent there said I can't take any pictures with the police car. So they asked me to leave the station and said I could only take picture with my car. On Sunday, July the 12th, when I went back to give a statement, I was harassed, japed, and pushed out of the station by a next police officer, the station guard. Say why didn't I insist to give the statement on the night of the accident. On the night of the accident, the investigation didn't want to take my statement. I tell him 1,000,000 times what happened, he didn't write it. He said I must come back on Monday. On Monday, when I call and ask how could I get my car, when I didn't know that they were trying to frame me, because they said when a car hit with a police car in an accident, that car is supposed to be examined. But there were 3 cars that hit by the police car and they tried to examine my car only. I did not know my rights at that time, that the only way your car is supposed to be examined is if your car were moving at the time. So that is the first corruption the police bring across to me. On the Monday when I called for my car, they said my car got to be examined by the examiner. But the examiner come to examine the car, but he left his book. And have me in the police station from 1 to 4 o'clock in the morning, still never take my statement. The investigation officer harassing me, dramatizing me, and telling me it's not possible for the police to mash up my car like that, and the police driver should be charged for careless and reckless driving. And they were drunk. No sober person could have do that, what he has done. I know I can't get any justice. All my car is going to fix, all my health is going to take care of. And then all the police are boasting that government car do not insure and is the worst vehicle to crash with. Is this justice? And what the government is taking poor people tax money to pay police for? To kill, rape, frame innocent people, and nothing comes out of it? Well, now I'm sitting here making this speech for the whole world to understand what I'm going through. After I realized what the investigation officer is doing, he fabricated my statement. I told him my car was the second car in the stoplight. He write my car is the first car. Everybody know that I was stationary. He write that I was going 35 miles before I reach the stoplight. Then force me to sign that statement. I tell him I'm the second car, so why he write that I'm the first car? He told me that, oh, it don't have anything to do if you are the second car or the first car. From your stationary when you get the lick. I was stationary. Why you want to know how fast or how slow I was going before I reach the stoplight? Well, on July the 29th, I was at my apartment outside when 2 carloads of police drive in. I was smoking a cigarette and one police jump off by and run down on me. Say, boy, drop the cigarette, boy. Pointing his gun at me, running down to me. Same time, an ex-police run and put his hand in my pocket. Other police, I must put my hand in on my head. An ex-police hold my ear and say he want to cut off my locks. Then they handcuff me. A police named Inspector Allen say he want to search my apartment. When they asked me my address, I said, you can't search my apartment, you don't have a search warrant. He said, who told me that? I said, human rights. Say you got to have a search warrant or a witness from the JP. They handcuffed me, dragged me to my house. 3 policemen that time tried to push me in my yard by myself behind closed door, wanting to kill me or frame me because they realized that the police has crashed in my car and the investigation officer fabricate my statement, and I have reported them to the public complainant, I have reported them to the public defender, I have reported them to the PPCA, I have reported them to human rights, I have reported them to the police complainant. But the police complainant is no good. You are reporting police to police, so I wouldn't get no justice there. I report them to the Gleaner Company, I report them to Observer, and I go back to the news media, TVJ. Right now, the best thing so far is I'm lucky that TVJ was on the scene the night of the accident. Lest the police would have charged me that night and try to tell a lie or tell many more lies, because they are telling many more lies. After they searched my apartment, they did not find anything illegal. When they searched me, they did not find anything illegal. They still take me to Oversight police station, say they are going to lock me up. Inspector Allen want to know who owned my apartment, who I'm paying rent to, what's the name of my landlord. I don't know why he asked me all these questions. Then they tried to take my fingerprint and want to take my picture. Luckily, human rights, I got to call them on my phone and tell them that I'm in the station. My lawyer called and asked for me at the station. They say I was not in the station. I really don't know what is going on, but all I know, the police are covering up for each other and they are trying to kill me. I didn't do anything. I was driving to Ochi, approaching the Dumbo Olin and Spanish Town bypass. The stoplight was on red. I stopped obeying the stoplight. Meanwhile, waiting for the stoplight to change, I saw this police car spinning and two-wheel come and hit my car, mash up my car. I can't get no justice from no one in Jamaica. All I know, everywhere I go for justice, in the police force, there's someone there trying to kill me, or someone there trying to set me up with the police. So I would like the whole world to check this, listen this, and know that if I'm dead or anything happened to me, it's the Jamaican police carry out that works or that order. And the person to responsible for that is Inspector Gardner from Spanish Town Police Station. And no, not Inspector Gardner, Sergeant Gardner from Spanish Town Police Station, and Inspector Allen from Oversight Police Station. Because it seemed to like this. Every police want to kill me because they realize that I'm right and they are trying to cover up for their police friend.
Will also be slapped with similar charges. I want to know what are the intricate details of Marvia Morgan and Donovan Brown in the Hill case. Following the ruling, presiding coroner Patrick Murphy ordered that warrants be issued for the arrest of the 5, all of whom were absent at the time of the verdict. Before his death, Hill made several complaints to a number of bodies, including the Police Public Complaints Authority, PPCA, and the Jamaicans for Justice, JFJ, concerning incidents between himself and the police, expressing fear for his life and for the safety of his family. Hill had also recorded and released a number of videos on the internet detailing his allegations of abuse at the hands of the police. It was not allegations. There were videos to show it. He also posted videos showing police officers ill-treating him and his pregnant wife at their Kingston home. In the recordings, Hill pleaded for help and claimed that elements within the constabulary force were conspiring to intimidate him in order to get him to cease pursuing complaints against the police arising from a motor vehicle accident in Spanish Town, St. Catherine, on July 11th of 2009. The coroner's inquest into the questionable death of the 37-year-old entertainer began on September 28th of 2010 in the Kingston and St. Andrew Coroner's Court. So this verdict passes 2014, even though the incident happened in 2010. It took 4 years for them to say, we need to press charges against these people for the murder of this man. So on Tuesday, the jury ruled that the three police officers and the 2 civilians should be charged with murder, bringing to end one phase of the more than 4-year-long battle for justice for Hill's relatives. Yesterday, human rights lobby group JFJ expressed pleasure at the verdict of the jury. JFJ represented the Hill family during the coroner's inquest, as it has done for over 100 families of deceased persons in the past 2 years. The organization is heartened by Indicom's work in this matter. A release from JFJ said, listen, for JFJ to represent over 100 families in a 2-year span, that's to tell you how many police killings happened that evidence showed questionability or the need to have this type of deeper investigation go on. Shoot him, put a gun on him, and said it was a shootout kind of thing. The lobby group, however, lamented the long time it took for the inquest to be completed, and they called for the criminal case to be expedited in the interest of justice. JFJ notes that it took the state apparatus more than 4 years and 8 months to arrive at a decision to charge persons in relation to Mr. Hill's death. This matter now proceeds to the circuit court for trial. I will take you to the circuit court in a minute. JFJ calls for a thorough and expeditious prosecution of the matter. This would represent another step in the arduous quest for justice for the family of Mr. Hill. While this ruling is welcome news, we remind the state that justice delayed is justice denied. That piece of news said. Now, at the time, there were a lot of comments on this news article in the Observer. Some of the people said, I had forgotten about this case after I saw the video on YouTube some many years ago. Never know that I would live to see such a glorious day as today. I hope his wife, who is across the Pacific Ocean, is smiling today. She did have to run back to her country when he died. Oh, and by the way, if anybody see any one of the criminal them, you can tell them how we are rejoice. Please, pan the Observer forum. Thanks. So if you didn't know it, they killed him and his wife, who was beaten while she was pregnant, on tape. She ran away back to where she came from, and I believe she was from either Japan or China, one of the two. Dweet Nice says, very good. Very Regular says, the easily offended, infantile, immature, and vindictive police force. Black on black violence is evident. What fools we be. Black Hawk said, black people feel disenfranchised for too long a period, so the deep-rooted anger is now surfacing. K. Brian 1 said, police getting a walloping this month, as they should. For far too long, poor people have complained about their brutality and their intimidation tactics. Thank God this man at least left a footprint that would lead those who cared to pursue justice to them. Sad thing is, when a man in his own country expresses fear for his life from those whom are sworn to serve and protect, I pray the end of this trial will see him and his family resting more peacefully. Kareen 1 said, I sincerely hope so, and the same thing that lead to his death do not resurface. Intimidation to his family. Enigma said, from commish to squaddy, and rightfully so. Enough is enough already. People aren't blind and we aren't stupid. Chuck Emmanuel I said, criminals everywhere must be dismantled. Prince Job said, the Most High is not sleeping. For the first time, I can honestly say that the justice system is working in our favor. Give thanks to the Most High. I'll be back said, I am so happy that they will be charged. I remember when all this was going on and I was watching the videos. Hopefully, justice will be served and they will not only be charged but be convicted and sentenced. Everett O'Sullivan said, great news, but I won't celebrate until a guilty verdict is passed upon these murderers, posing as law enforcement officers. Others have gone before the courts and usually they just walk free in the face of damning evidence that points to their guilt. Just ask residents of Crawl in Clarendon. I'm going to leave it there. There were actually 65 comments on here from 5 years ago, but I am not going to read all 65 comments to you. I am going to go on to what happened after. Now, here we are. Parliament. Now we're going to go on to the one where it says the DPP drops the case against Kentucky kid murder accused. And this was printed in the Gleaner, October 15th of 2015. So they waited from 2010 to 2014 just to hear them say we're going to charge these people. And then by 2015 October, the DPP decided we're going to drop all charges. So the 3 cops and the 2 civilians charged with the murder of entertainer Robert Kentucky Kid Hill has been freed. It is no wonder the person said in the comment section previously that it's a good thing, but I'm not going to hold my breath and wait for anything. I want to hear a guilty verdict first, because too often they have gone before the courts with insurmountable amount of evidence pointing to their guilt and they just walk away. It's how the system is designed in Jamaica. It is how we know it to work in Jamaica. And it is a shame, but they do not care who knows. Okay? So, like I started out this video saying, why Jamaicans see and know, but stay silent. All right. Now, Barbara Gale's Justice Coordinator, in this edition of the Gleaner, printed October 15th of 2014, the 3 cops and the 2 civilians charged with the murder of entertainer Robert Kentucky Kid Hill have been freed. Director of Public Prosecution, Paula Llewellyn, yesterday told the Home Circuit Court that it would be impossible to mount a viable case against Corporal Uriel Anderson and Constable Gary Thomas and Norvell Warren and the 2 civilians, Marvia Morgan and Donovan Brown. She said that the Crown was not in a position to contradict the policemen's account that they acted in self-defense. The DPP also stated that there was no witness of fact or any other material which could support a charge of murder or even conspiracy to murder. You're thinking about the Vibes Cartel case? And this is the same DPP, Paula Llewellyn, that championed that one. Are y'all on board yet? She said while her office was sensitive to the sentiments of the public, the prosecution has to act in a professional manner and not be influenced by prejudice or sympathy. Presiding Judge Justice Carol Lawrence Beswick which directed the juror to return a normal verdict of not guilty. Hill was reportedly killed after 3 policemen were dispatched by a senior officer to retrieve an illegal firearm from his home in Ivy Green Mews on December 8th of 2009. Following a probe into the incident, the DPP had ruled that no one should be criminally charged and referred the matter to the coroner's court for an inquest to be carried out into the circumstances surrounding Hill's death. In August, a coroner's ruled that all 5 accused should have been charged with Hill's murder, and a year later, the DPP, headed by Paula Llewellyn, said there is nothing there that says they can charge these people for murder, so they are dropping all charges. I'm going to read some of the comments that followed, again, before I go on to what happened after, because Indicom even got involved after, and this case takes a weird other turn. Stay tuned. M. Whip said, "Rest in peace, Kentucky Kid. Your pleas and your prayers went unanswered, and your country failed you, but I firmly believe there is a God." Hilton J. said, "That is why other jurisdictions do not trust our Jamaica justice system. This case is a perfect example. Just follow case from the first incident till now and you will see why." M. Whip also said, "One has to wonder whose side or what side is the DPP on and what is her purpose in this office." We have wondered that for years, okay? And it's very evident in certain things that have taken place. But she remains there to do the duty that someone has placed her there to do. Someone has placed her there to fulfill their agenda. Faceboy21 says, "Boy, Kentucky, even in your grave the police are haunt you. But Paula say, them never have even. So I don't know how coroner court came to the conclusion that these 5 were to be charged. But Paula said they have no reason to charge them. Something alright." JA for Life said, "It is a matter of being able to prove it in court of law. I feel for Kentucky Kid. I strongly believe that he was murdered. The problem becomes being able to prove it with witnesses and facts." Shaking my head. It is sad his many murders occur in Jamaica and no one is able to give reliable witness account to gain guilty verdict. Rest in peace, Kentucky Kid. Kalia McCoy says, "Unbelievable." W17 says, "Blah, blah, blah. Like no professionalism really exists here in Jamaica. Kiss me teeth. What's when it relates to the police and to the court system?" Caesar G6542 says, "This is ridiculous. Wasn't the DPP aware of all those facts before even presenting the matter before the court? If they didn't have all their facts, they should have waited and did more investigations. Why were there a rush to put the matter before the courts? Murder has no statute of limitation and could be tried in a couple of years when the evidence was available. I believe with jeopardy attached, these individuals cannot be tried again. The decision, I believe, is the real tragedy." And there you have that part. And now we're going to go on to what happened after, because this did not sit well with Indicom, which is an independent body of investigation that many people are conflicted, because some have said that Indicom has came into the country and has tied the hands of law enforcement, so they're not able to kill off the whole of the bad man them like Adams and the rest of the top most feared bigger four them were able to do. And with the crime rising in Jamaica, a lot of people are saying, yo, we need back people like Adams for just come in and just clean house But there are a lot of people that are saying, no, we don't really need that, because although there are a lot of killings going on in Jamaica, there are also a lot of innocent people that were being killed by police officers, and they were covered up as they were guilty because it was a shootout or a man had a gun on him when nothing didn't go like that and all this other stuff. So we needed an independent body inside. I believed that we needed an independent body inside until that Chucky Brown case, because Chucky Brown was the only police officer to ever go to Indicom and rat out the whole of them squaddy them and tell in details all the murders they did and which drug lord and gangster friend they killed for. And guess what? Chucky Brown was the only one that was prosecuted and put away, buried under the jail. So he was forever silenced and everybody moved on with life as usual. No one is looking at the big names that he called that were involved in these extrajudicial killings, right? It ended right there. So just like how I'm conflicted and I'm thinking, why is Paula Llewellyn in the position she is in the office that she serves? Who put her there? And who is pulling her strings? Who is her puppet master? And what is their agenda? It's the same way I am now looking at Indicom with a side eye, like, what is your agenda in the country? And who is really pulling your strings? But anyway, here we go. So, on Thursday, July 2nd of 2015, printed in the Observer, it says, Parliament takes on the Kentucky Kid killing. Parliament, takes on the Kentucky Kid killing. So, here we go. Kingston, Jamaica. Cabinet may have to take another look at the fatal shooting of entertainer Robert Hill, aka Kentucky Kid, which happened in 2009. And this is being printed in July 2nd of 2015. So we're going from 2009 to 2015 now. This is how stretched out this is. And for those of you who said, well, where is the fast, expeditious, judicial, not in Jamaica. Not in Jamaica. Not to say it doesn't happen anywhere else in the world, that people don't sit around for years waiting on a trial, on a case to go to trial, but it's a regular thing in Jamaica. It happens here in the USA as well, just to put that out there. So anyways, Kingston, Jamaica. They're saying that the cabinet may have to take another look at the fatal shooting of entertainer Robert Hill, aka Kentucky Kid, in 2009. Hill was killed at his home in Ivy Green Mews, Kingston, on December 8th of 2009 in what the police say was a shootout. So you're trying to tell me that this brother is making all these videos, begging and bawling for help, right? And even has videotapes of police officers coming into his home, biting up, boof, buff, coof, cough, queffing up him and his pregnant wife, right? Hill was beaten so bad he was passing blood. And there was a time gone by when you were able to post those things on YouTube and they wouldn't strike your channel or take the video down. If I was to post a video of me taking a doo-doo on the toilet right now on YouTube, wiping my butt with blood on the tissues and lining them up on the side of my bathtub, some 5, 10, 15 tissues he lined up in the video, bloody, and blood and poop coming out in the toilet, which means he was suffering internal bleeding for after the beating they gave him, YouTube would strike my channel and they would probably take my channel down because they would say that's a violation of community rules and that was grotesque. Okay? But back then, Hill did put those videos up and they are still on YouTube and YouTube still has not taken them down because I have them here. I can't show them here, so I'm going to edit them out. But just know that all that was there. So after a brother went through all this, right, suddenly a story comes up about a senior cop saying, hey, Squaddy, come here. We have intelligence that there's a illegal gun over at Kentucky Kid residence. I want to storm the residence, kick off the door and find that illegal gun there. How convenient. How convenient. Suddenly, after all the intimidation to get him to stop, and he kept making videos and putting them on social media, on YouTube at the time, Now they're seeing that they can't silence him, so there's an illegal gun in his house that we must go get. And it so happens that when they went to go get this illegal gun, through orders of a superior officer, a shootout ensued because Hill saw them coming and was shooting. Man, I tell you. So, Hill was killed at his home in Ivory Green Mews, Kingston on December 8th of 2009 in what the police are calling a shootout. A jury at the Kingston Coroner Court ruled last August that 5 people, including 3 policemen, be charged with the murder. But the 5 accused were actually freed after Director of Public Prosecution Paula Llewellyn told the courts it would be impossible to mount a viable case against them with all that evidence. Paula. The angered Commissioner of the Independent Commission of Investigation, Indicom. So they're saying that the Commissioner of the Independent the leader of Indicom was angered. Terence Williams, who sent a report to Parliament rejecting Paula Llewellyn's position and pointing out that there was no dispute over whether the 3 policemen were responsible for Hill's death. You heard that. Indicom said they reject Paula Llewellyn's decision to not go forth with prosecution and to drop the charges. Indicom rejected it, and Indicom pointed out, Indicom sent a report to Parliament rejecting Paula Llewellyn's position and pointing out that there was no dispute over whether the 3 policemen were responsible for Hill's death. None. Llewellyn, however, responded that a close examination of the Williams report revealed misstatements and misconceptions relating to fact, law, and policy. The matter had been referred to the Special Joint Select Committee formed to review reports from parliamentary commissions, including Indicom, from February, but they were unable to meet prior to Wednesday. The committee, formerly chaired by Deputy Speaker of the House of Representatives Lloyd B. Smith, selected government backbencher Michael Phillips, son of the Minister of Finance and Planning, Dr. Peter Phillips, to chair the first meeting in the absence of Smith and approximately 12 other members. Y'all hearing this? The committee agreed with Phillips to take the next 2 weeks to study the reports from the DPP and from Indicom. They will meet again on July 16th, this is 2015, to discuss the questions needed to be answered. They are likely to invite Williams and Llewellyn to the next meeting to answer those questions before reporting to Parliament by the end of the month. That is what was written then. And one bag of run around. Now, people were saying, finally, hopefully justice will prevail. This DPP sometimes makes me scratch my head in questions, about her decisions, Mooney, 65, said. Andrea Lewis says, look how long this should didn't go on. Will we just do the right thing? Think First says, I think it is time for Paula Llewellyn to go. It is about time the citizens of Jamaica start getting some real justice. Dallo says, nothing will come out of this, even though the injustice is so stark. Parliament, please. Rookie 1178 says, guess what I read in today's Observer? Of the 17 members of this committee, only 6 turned up for the first session of this. Not even the chairman made it. Please stop getting excited by empty announcements and promises, people. Okay? And they actually left a link, Parliamentary Oversight and the Kentucky Kid case. And the link read, and this link was posted in the Observer. I'm giving y'all all the links, for who want to take them time and walk through this case. Now, this was posted Sunday, July 5th of 2015. And here's a picture here that shows Phillips to the left, and quickly pointed out that the committee had exactly 4 weeks to meet and prepare a report. Williams to the right. There is currently a whole raft of oversight for Indicom. Hill shot by police. The report said, just weeks after Jamaica's House of Parliament co-hosted an international conference for legislators and civil servants involved with the oversight aspects of its work, an attempt to resume an experiment to give oversight to its commissions got off to a very poor start last week. The column has been highlighted for several weeks, the embarrassing state of the oversight mechanisms of Gordon House. But not in our wildest imagination could we have predicted that what happened on Wednesday. The newly reactivated committee, chaired by the Deputy Speaker of the House Representatives, Lloyd B. Smith, was scheduled to have its first sitting then. Remember, Lloyd B. Smith himself never ever showed up. The primary matter being a resolution from the House of Representatives to review the conflicting points raised by Independent Commission of Investigation, Commissioner Terrence Williams, and Director of Public Prosecution, DPP Paula Llewellyn, on the issue of the fatal shooting of Robert Kentucky Kid Hill by the police in 2009. Not only was the chairman absent, but so too were several of the 17-member committee that were appointed to overlook this thing, very few of whom even bothered to send an apology for their absence. In order to... y'all still waiting on justice, huh? In order to start the proceedings, for which there is a time limit of 4 weeks, the 6 members present, Member of Parliament Michael Phillips, Gregory Mayer, and Dennis Daly, and Senator Wentworth Skeffrey, Sophia Fraser-Libord, and Naval Clark sat down to get the committee business going. Government Senator Wentworth Skeffrey noted the number of absentees and suggested that Parliament have to change the culture in terms of carrying out their duties as members of committee. Opposition MP Gregory Mayer felt that instead of 4 members, including the chairman, forming a quorum, 4 members plus the chairman would have been more effective of such a large committee. Mayer noted the importance of the committee and the fact that it would be required deal with reports, including finding the recommendations from important commissions of Parliament, including the Office of the Contractor General, OCG, the Child Development Agency Advocate, the Office of Public Defender, and Indicom. So you see, this turned into one big political quagmire that now we're talking about everything else other than what they were assembled and appointed to do. Do you see how easily they lose normal civilians in their political jargon? In their political languages, they start to speak on legal terms. And the people them just get frustrated and say, well, if that is what's going to come out of it, I'm not saying a word. Because if that is the kind of justice I have to look forward to, me no want no part of it. Me have to live to take care of my family here, and they're certainly not going to do it. Government member, Senator Naval Clark, noted that the members had not even received copies of the report that they would have to review prior to the meeting. Well, did any of them make an effort to get copies, or were they waiting for it to be given to them and it was not presented? If they were really interested, did they make efforts to get the copies? And if they were denied them, who was it that denied? No accountability given here, says SouFLoTV. Reading right along. Government backbencher Dennis Daly said that she was not aware of being a member until she attended Parliament on Tuesday. I want bag of laughing thing this. So you're appointed to a committee, right, to do something as important as this. And you're talking about Indicom and the Department of Public Prosecution going at it, and you're supposed to be the middleman to come to some kind of ground. and people are being appointed and are not even aware that they are appointed. Fortunately, the members present were able to find a competent chairman in government backbencher, Michael Phillips, who was determined with their support to go forward. Phillips himself quickly pointed out that the committee had actually exactly 4 weeks to meet and prepare a report on the issue for tabling in the House of Representatives on whether or not the matter should be referred to the cabinet. He suggested that the committee take the next 2 weeks to study the documents, which include lengthy reports on the issue from both INDECOM and the ODPP. The committee is scheduled to meet again on Thursday, July 16th, when they will discuss questions arising from the reports to Parliament. They should meet again the following Wednesday, when, if necessary, they may request the presence of both Williams and Llewellyn to clarify the issue. So the goal was to have both of them now, the head of INDECOM and the head of Department of Public Prosecution, Paula Llewellyn, face to face now. House Leader Philip Paulwell had announced in mid-February that a special committee should be appointed to review this report. I thought that was already done. Why are we running around in circles, right? That review should have ended by mid-March, as this process under the statement orders is required to be completed within a month. There has been no explanation as to why the original decision by the House was not implemented for 4 months. However, it was obvious case that with the focus of Parliament being on the budget and the sectoral debates, as well as the IMF targets, there was no space to accommodate it. Wanna hear this? In other words, them have bigger fish to fry than to worry about who police kill out a road if a poor people. But it is certainly a sad state of affairs when even serious human rights issues and conflicts between two much important commissions become victims of this focus. The background to this issue is that aspiring artist Hill, Kentucky Kid, publicly complained of constant harassment by members of the constabulary force. He used videos which he filmed because a lawyer told him, yo, get some video and put it up in your house, the videotape, and video them when they're coming in. Because he had complained that they were coming into his residence regularly unannounced, intimidating him, roughing him up, and they said, get some video. And he did. And he captured video. For example, he transmitted evidence of this harassment to publicize his fear that the police intended to kill him. Among the video was a film in which Hill captured the police officer confronting him and his wife, beating them up. Kamiko, who was 8 months pregnant at the time and in the house. The video was uploaded to YouTube for the world to see and it went viral. But the JCF showed little interest and they actually showed little fear or concern. Hill was subsequently shot dead by police on December 8th of 2009 near his home in what was reported as a shootout. His shooting, however, attracted both local and international attention and suspicions that was in relation for an earlier incident. Following an inquest into his death, 3 police officers, Special Corporal Uriel Anderson, Constable Gary Thomas, and Special Constable Norval Warren, as well as 2 civilians, Marvia Morgan and Donovan Brown, were last August arrested and charged with his killing. The 5 accused persons, however, were freed in October after DPP Paula Llewellyn told the court that she was withdrawing the case as there was no evidence linking the 5 to the murder of Hill. The DPP's action, however, angered Terrence Williams, who sent a report to Parliament rejecting Llewellyn's position and pointing out that there was no dispute over whether the 3 police were responsible for Hill's death. Llewellyn responded that a close examination of Williams' report revealed misstatements and misconceptions relating to fact, law, and policy. The issue has since triggered a conflict between members of another Joint Select Committee of Parliament over whether INDECOM, which is a commission of Parliament, ought not to be reigned by a level of independent oversight outside of Parliament. So now them want to take away Indicom rights. Minister of National Security Peter Bunting and Justice Minister Senator Mark Golding have both expressed support for this additional level of oversight, although their position has in no way been connected with the particular incident involving Hill's death, but the majority of members of the JSC appears to oppose an additional oversight mechanism. Local human rights groups, however, see the position taken by the ministry as another contempt or another attempt to limit the power of Indicom. So Indicom questions the DPP in what is the most questionable case ever seen, and they want to take away Indicom's powers. The Commission took over investigations concerning actions by members of the security forces and other agents of the state that result in death or injury to persons or abuse of rights of persons and connected matters from the Public Complaint Authority on August 16th of 2010. It has also triggered a rift between Indicom and the ODPP since last October. Remember, back in that time. Following the complaint made by Williams in a report to Parliament on October 30th objecting to the decision this is the report made by Williams, who was the head of Indicom. So following that report to Parliament objecting the decision to discontinue the case against the persons accused of Hill's murder, the DPP, now Paula Llewellyn, suggested this, and this is what she suggested. It is our view that the interest of justice would best be served if, like the Jamaica Constabulary Force, Indicom has a direct oversight body of persons who can offer an avenue to complaints by aggrieved parties where they may have been the victims of what they perceive to be an abuse of office or authority by Indicom and its officers. So in other words, Paula Llewellyn now counteracted by saying, Indicom want carry we go to court, how about we carry them go to court? And how about we say that they are abusing us? In response, Commissioner Williams told a recent meeting of the committee reviewing Indicom's performance since 2010 that while he is not ready to make a full statement on the issue, there needs for its oversight mechanisms to be understood. And he said, I think that many of the parties asking for further oversight seems, with respect to, have missed the fact that there is currently a whole raft of oversight for Indicom already, Williams told the committee. Most importantly, the Office of the Public Defender has oversight for all government agencies, including Indicom, under the Public Defender Interim Act. We're not excluded, but the DPP and the Jamaica Defense Force are excluded, Williams said. These developments show, so in other words, the DPP is the one who does not have someone to overlook and say to them, Paula Llewellyn, wait, Awagwan, you look like you're messing up right here, man, right? But Indicom has people oversight, but DPP does not. These developments show how important it is for reconstituted commissions of Parliament committee to show more responsibility in exploring these matters and why it is necessary for it to be given full support by Parliament in meeting its deadlines. I must admit that the recent history of this committee is not a good sign on how responsible and effective parliamentary oversight can be. Because after having this meeting called and only 7 people show up of the how many that were supposed to show up, and many of them, including the major chairman, did not show up and didn't even bother to say, hey, I didn't show up because my daughter did sick or I had an emergency overseas or whatever, or I was on my yacht out in the middle of the Caribbean Ocean and I think this did warrant my time. No, and nothing was given, right? Not a care in the world. So he said, I must admit that the recent history of this committee is not a good sign of how responsible and effective parliamentary oversight can be, and certainly gives credence to the position taken by Minister Bunting that Parliament might not have the capacity to give proper oversight to the growing number of commissions for which it is responsible. Leader of the House, Philip Paulwell, however, understands the importance and should use his authority to ensure that a proper committee is instituted and give it the support it needs to be effective. And that is where the thing ends. Now, PJ the original says, one hand washing the other without soap and water. How many citizens that are murdered by the police were ever solved? Answer that question. For each member that missed the meeting should be docked pay of about $20,000 or more. Jamaica will never, due to the lack of responsibility by most of the government, will never get better, will never grow. This is what people vote for. This is what we have come to expect all the time. Do your jobs. After all, you make sure you get paid with tax dollars from the citizens. Damned if they do, damned if they don't. Nothing will ever change. Ellery Henry said, members had not even received copies of the report that they would have to review prior to the meeting. If that was the case, then what time would the members have to research and to debate certain critical aspects of the report? Isn't this showing scant regard to the people's business by this committee? Observer said, Hill's blood is splattered in every nook and cranny of the Jamaican justice system. Apart from the ODPP and the Five, it would be hard to find one person following the case who does not believe that they have a case to answer. This is not an indicum against the DPP issue. This has to do with the right of life of ordinary citizens in Jamaica. In this regard, the police and other organs of the state endowed with extraordinary authority and power must be held to standards that are higher, not less than the ordinary citizen. Fit McNasty says, the cover-up of the century. Oh my God. Yet the JCF is asking citizens to report crimes to them? Tell me about it. You heard that? The cover-up of the century. Yet the JCF is asking citizens to report crime to them? Tell me about it. Richie L says, these killers in uniform, man, maybe they're able to get away from man's law, but they cannot get away from God. They will one day answer for their crime. How do these animals sleep at night? I'll tell you how. They don't believe in what you believe in, so they sleep just fine. Tony says, our deadbeat politicians. Kit says, we demand accountability. Under standing orders, the review should have been completed in 1 month. Why was it not completed in that time? What importance does the government place on this issue if the committee affairs are in such disarray with one member not even knowing she was on the committee? Who was responsible for providing reports to the committee members? If they didn't do it, will there be a penalty? Where was the chair of the committee? Was his other engagement more important than a committee that has only 4 weeks to provide a report? Thank you, Senator Skeffrey, for pointing out what should be obvious. When are we Jamaicans going to demand answers, and when will the government on both sides of the house feel that they are ever responsible? Kit said again, Mr. Balford Henry, could you please find out and publish the whereabouts of the committee member who were not present? We need the media to help without fear or favor. Make our politicians and political accountants available and political officials available. Thank you. Beverly says, Kentucky Kid speaks, although he is gone. Every time I see a mention of this case, I am encouraged that the truth is being sought on behalf of this man who cried out for help to save his life. And it seemed that his pleas were unheard. Then, now that he's died, as he said he would, then let him be heard until all the truth be told. Dream them a dream. Skywalker says, my. Man, why am I not surprised they blatantly disregarded their duties to their own constituencies? Why would these matter, which impact the protection and welfare of our citizens, be any different? Both parties need to pack up and leave. We need new parties to be installed, and I'll never stop saying this. So here comes me now vote JLP, me now vote PMP, me just now vote, because none of them not doing nothing. Nuru says, always talking about chicken being absent or late for school. Unreliable. Kettle a cuss pot. Always talking about children being absent or late for school. Unreliable. Kingston 13 says, I remember the Janice Allen case, where the police even set fire to the Denham Town police station in order to destroy the files pertaining to the case after the police was charged for murdering the little girl, We not forget, We remember, I'm going to leave it right there, people. Just remember that SouFLoTV told you this. When y'all want to talk about how Jamaica full of crime and violence and how we harbor criminals and they must flush them out and their family members and the community must come out and point the finger and tell and all this, I want you to remember this. This is why Jamaicans see and know but stay silent. For a long time, ever since my eyes been at my knees, me hear that saying they will say, see I'm blind, hear and deaf. Little later on, them style it different. Them say, walk and live, talk and bum dead. Alright? I'm going to leave this one here for you. That was the full on of the Kentucky Kid, Robert Hill case revisited. It's SouFLoTV, man. Like, comment, share, subscribe. Leave your comments in the comment section below. Do you know of any police killings in Jamaica that you can detail in this comment section for me or share on, say, WhatsApp so we can share it on the channel and go over it? Do you know of any? Have any of your family members, your boyfriend, your brother, sister, cousin, auntie, uncle, anybody, a friend of a friend, have been unjustly killed or in suspicious conditions? Talk up in the comment section, because it seems like only then and there can we get some kind of relief, because justice is definitely never going to come from the justice system for us. I'm out. Peace.